Hey everybody, welcome back to my modern homestead. My name is Janet and I'm so glad you're here. And before we continue any further, I just want to say welcome to all of our new subscribers. I'm so grateful that you're here and I'm thankful that you chose to spend a few minutes with us when we do a new video. And for all my faithful subscribers, you know I'm glad you're here. So today, let's talk about our pantry. That has been my dreaded room ever since we moved. In fact, before we moved, my pantry wasn't organized because when I started canning, I wasn't really into preparing and making sure we had what we needed for the future. So stuff just kind of ended up all over my house and was in a mess, and parts of it were organized, but it was still kind of scattered throughout my house. So today, we are going to work on getting that pantry organized. Now, before we get into it, I'd like to talk a little bit about why. Why do you need to be prepared? A lot of people and a lot of channels you see, they're really into big time prepping. Well, I think I kind of walk the edge. I don't consider myself a prepper, but I do consider myself being prepared. And I think being prepared for whatever life may throw at us. I mean, you've got to think about, y'all, there's things going on in the world that our news isn't really telling us. There are diseases in other countries that if it jumps from continent to continent, you need to be paying attention and you need to be aware. Think about the conflicts going on around us. What does that mean for our future in our country? But even on not such a big scale, but even think about jobs, y'all. What are happening to businesses in America? What if you're self-employed or your spouse or your partner is self-employed and there's a job loss? What if there's an injury and that person can't work? Are you prepared? Do you have what you need to survive for a few months and to make it a few months or longer? And not even so much on that big of a scale. How many of you have ever had to suddenly spend time in a hospital with a loved one? Was it easy to eat then? So think about all of these things when you think about preparing your pantry. And y'all, I think it's a wonderful gift as a woman to be able to love on our families in such a way that we prepare our homes for things that we don't know what are coming. Do we fear? Do we have to fear what's coming in the future? I don't think so. At least I don't, because I have a wonderful faith in my God and in my Savior, who are going to be with me, guide me, protect me. Do his people experience bad things? Sure they do. But can we do all we can to prepare for those times? Absolutely. I want to share with you a verse that's always on my heart when I'm doing these things. This is from Proverbs 31, and I'm reading from the English Standard Version. I'm starting with verse 25. It says, "Strength and dignity are her clothing. She laughs at the time to come." The King James Version says, "She rejoices at the time to come. She opens her mouth with wisdom, and the teaching of kindness is on her tongue. She looks well to the ways of her household and does not eat the bread of idleness. Her children rise up and call her blessed. Her husband also, and he praises her. Many women have done excellently, but you surpass them all. Charm is deceitful and beauty is vain, but a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised. Give her the fruit of her hands, and let her works praise her in the gates. Y'all, as a mother, as a child of God, as a daughter of God, I'm thankful for the opportunity and blessing to be able to pour out to others, those who are just starting out, those who are learning, those who may be even older than me but haven't thought about these things. It's a beautiful gift to lead and guide other women. And I don't necessarily consider myself a teacher, but maybe I can inspire someone else. But I love to share with you what I'm doing. So if you find inspiration in it, that's great. And before we get into the video, if you like these videos, please consider liking the video with a great big thumbs up and subscribing so that you don't miss any future videos. So let's get to it, y'all. Okay, y'all, so here's the next project we're going to be working on. Now, let me start by saying that I am incredibly grateful that I have this room to store stuff, but this is just too much. There's too many colors, there's too much disorganization, all that stuff. It's just driving me crazy. I still have those boxes. Well, if you saw one of my other earlier videos, I bought some boxes, totes, to go up here to make things look more uniform. So I'm going to see what I can get in those that I can get out of boxes. And I hope that if I can get that up there a little more compact and a little more organized, that it will free up some space to organize this space a little better. You guys, when we moved in, I started out really great getting things organized with my canning stuff, but as we were running out of time and my husband was ready for boxes to get done, I just started stuffing just to get it. You hear there's a canning lid on the floor I just tripped on, but we just started stuffing stuff just to get it up and off the floor out of boxes. So that's what happened. And I knew the day would come that I would have to reorganize, so I guess the day has come. Let's see what we can do in here. Even my table has gotten disorganized. I don't even know why these are in here. Let's go outside. And Nancy, if you're watching, they never made it in the mail. When I come to see you next month, maybe I'll just hand deliver them. And you can have them for next year. So here we are, y'all, in the room of disaster. Now, normally I would like to just pull everything off of the shelves and just put it all back in an organized way, but there's just too much stuff in this one room, so we did a great big game of Tetris. And here you can see I'm using one of the white bins I showed in an earlier video, and I'm putting together stuff such as foils, wax paper, parchment paper, Ziploc bags, those type things into this tote. Now, I also had this really big box of straws that we got at Sam's Club, and I knew I couldn't put all of them in one, well, I guess I could put them all in one bin, but I wanted to fit them in where I had spaces in these other boxes. So, as you can see, and like I've already said, I just played a great big game of Tetris and got that all organized and fit into the boxes. And then I also pulled in another box, the white plastic box with a lid, and added some things to it. Here's the other box. I got the rest of the straws into those, and I also had some other random loose things on the shelves that I wanted to put together, such as shredded coconut. I had these bags of dried fruit. I never know what to do with those. So I thought, bingo, perfect. thing to put in this tote. And I had to play a little game of Tetris to get everything to fit into those boxes also, but we got it done. We got everything to fit in there, and I was so excited. I felt like doing a little jig when it all worked. I love getting things organized, y'all. I dread the process of starting it, but once it's done and I'm into it, it just does something to me. And I had this random, well, I won't say random, but this tub of dried elderberries. Those were in my cabinet pantry, and I thought, hello, perfect, it fits. I was so happy. Here I was working on the Rubbermaid bowls. I went through those, and for some reason I had 2 bowls with brown sugar in them. So I just combined those, and then that freed up a tote, and then I was able to do that with a couple other totes. I had like random chocolate chips and whatnot, and I got those switched to one of the big totes and freed up another little bowl so I could put other stuff into that. And y'all, that's really important when you're organizing. See what you can condense, put like things together instead of having it all scattered. That's not a one-time and done type thing. As you start adding things, stuff does get kind of disorganized, but randomly you have to go through and do that again, reorganize. And here you can see I had tubs of flour, so I had open bags of flour on the shelf, and I had to combine those, and that got one more thing off of the shelf. So always keep that in mind as you're working. And I really suggest at least once a year, if not twice a year, go through and do this with your items. I must really love my flour. I found another bag of all-purpose flour, and I keep this jar on my side table, the little island thing in the pantry, so that I have easy access to all-purpose flour because we use it so much. And yes, I do have a big bowl also on the shelf, but for some reason I had that random odd open bag. So anyway, I just put it in that jar. One more thing off of that shelf. At this point, I had to pull my son in to get those heavy boxes off the top of those shelves that Mama can't hardly reach. So he's always a great help and willing to do things I'm not able to do. Okay. Whoa. So this is our progress so far. I came in here last night and I did not mean to work on anything, but you know how it is. You just pick up one thing and you're like, oh, let me put this here, and then oh, let me put that there, and then before you know it, you have all these boxes emptied and put away. Now, I still have this box. I put all my jars that are not true canning jars, but that I've canned in. They're just like old mayonnaise jars and whatnot. So I have this little box of that. And then I found my gardening gloves. Then I have this box of quart jars. Some of them are dusty, some of them are clean. And I thought I guess I've already put it away. I thought I had a box of pints, but I guess not. So that's all I have left. And I have, well, to go on these shelves, I have those 3 totes. Oh, I do have another box right there. So I think those 3 bins that I have on the table ready for to go in here in the pantry, those are going to be plenty for what I have left. Now I do still have this box, but all of this, these are just little miscellaneous jars, jelly jars, little jars I can use for something else. I'm going to rearrange this bottom shelf on the jelly cabinet and put them all down there. So just doing this little bit, I already feel better. Now, I ended up having to rearrange my cabinet pantry in the kitchen to make some of this work and put some like things together, because I don't like having some of this here and some of this there and not knowing what I have of what. In fact, I found some stuff I thought I had and thought I didn't have, like my olive oil. I was sure I had bought olive oil before we moved, but I couldn't find it. Well, I found it cleaning off these shelves. I got all my meats together, all my tomato pasta sauces together, and I have all my tomatoes and soups in the kitchen. Let me show you that real fast. Here we go. And this is what I mean. I had to do a lot of rearranging, but I have all my soups together. And then, I'm not going to try to explain this, but I know my system. I've got my broth stuff together, peas together, manwich together. Now, I do have a backup stash. It's somewhere else, but this is just my working stuff. Like, there are my tomatoes. They're all together. Box, bowl in a bag, rice, macaroni, pasta, whatnot. And my olive oil I thought I had lost is right there, the big one. See, I bought those two the other day thinking I didn't have olive oil. So that's what I'm saying. Get your stuff organized so you know what you have in order to know what you need. Having done all this, I know there are beans I need to get canned up again. I know I need to can some more carrots. And I know I need to can more milk. Ooh. These are dusty. Yep, got to do that. So, and another little tip, if I have a canner that's not full, I'll can water to have it. So, oh, and some more meatballs. Y'all, do y'all remember us making these meatballs? They were really good. These are the Swedish meatballs. We really enjoy this meal, so I know I need to can more. And what I'm trying to do now is when we use a jar of something, instead of it just getting set in a random place, I'm trying to put it in the back where I took the jar from. That way I can see what I've used and see what I've still, or what I need to recan. Does that even make sense? I hope so. And see all the green beans we still have left? It goes all, there's 6 deep, I think. So I know I don't need to can any more green beans this year, but I do know I want those green beans to go in the freezer as whole beans. Now I've got not tomatoes, potatoes here that are canned in water. Y'all, just honestly, we didn't really enjoy those like I thought we would. So I think I'm going to try my hand at dry canning. Let me know if y'all would like to see that, and we'll do it together. And you were probably wondering what in the world I'm doing with this mess up here. I am sitting these here. I know I need to put these in Mylar bags. So I'm waiting to get 10 items that I know I want canned. I'm sure I've got 10 items here, things I can, put in bags. So I just have these here waiting to go in bags when I'm through with this room. Okay, everybody, the pantry is done. I went and got one more of those and one of those, and I've got my seed stuff that was just randomly sitting around in that one, and the rest of the blue ones are canning stuff, and that one is also preserving stuff, vacuum seal, Mylar bags, whatnot. But y'all, this feels so much better. I know what I've got. I know where it is. All I need to do now is get my seed stuff on my desk back in the little, I don't know what you call them, the little plastic holder things. And I even got some stuff down here organized better. So, whoa, sorry, Alyssa's putting up dishes. I hope this gives some of you some inspiration to get that stuff organized. You know, it doesn't do you a bit of good if you're buying and stocking up your pantry if you don't know what you've got or where it's at. So, if I can do it, y'all can do it. I'll get those spaces and items organized. We've got this. You guys, so there you have it. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know I love it when you come and spend a few minutes with me. So until we meet again, may you be blessed. Love you guys.